When we talk about DHVs, demonstrations of higher value, what exactly is that value? It's S&R, survival and replication. See, if you can align yourself with someone with survival and replication value for you, you will feel attraction. That's exactly what attraction really is all about. Feeling that someone has S&R value for you. Do they serve you? S&R value. Now, in my mind, there are more than 5 DHV switches that trigger attraction, but the top 5, in my opinion, are pre-selection, leader of men, protector of loved ones, a willingness to emote, and successful risk taker. If you can convey those 5 key DHVs in your stories, or better, demo them live, then a woman is going to feel attraction for you. Pre-selection, in my opinion, is also 80% of the way because it presumes the other DHVs. It presumes that you must be the leader of men and protector of loved ones. You must have a willingness to emote, that your emotional circuitry is normal, because there are women around you and they're very good judges of character. So you want to be seen with women. In fact, going up to a group of people you've never met before and having that instant rapport, that is a high valued male behavior. To go in and not give a shit. Systematically demonstrated, hopefully in the first few seconds. So that's why you'll see pickup artists do these subtle, slight social violations.
When you look around the room, you're aiming for capturing the highest value set. Who is that? It's you. It's you and your friends. Most pickup artists, what they will typically do when they get into a bar, 4 guys will go in and they will disperse very rapidly, all on their own, running around the room, grabbing the girls. What they fail to realize is that while they're prowling around the room, they're lowering their value. They need to be the observed. While you're standing there, and you've heard me say it before and it sounds harsh, social wanking, glass up front, straw, looking around, you're observing. If you're in a group of people and you're doing that, you're lowering the value of your team, your wingmen, because you're basically saying, my friends are not interested in, I'm looking for stimulus elsewhere. So what you really want to do is get into that room and just ignore the room sometimes as an exercise, and get together in your group and give each other energy. Every one of you is a flame, and if you all put a little bit of gasoline on the fire, you become this huge bonfire that people will naturally, especially beautiful women, gravitate to. When they gravitate to you, that's what we call proximity, and it's as simple as over the shoulder, shooting the shit, and engage and pull them into your group. But you do not have to run around looking for targets to do that. And the reason I emphasize this is not about getting the targets, but it's also about having fun. These are your friends, these are your wingmen. When you go out sociably, it shouldn't always be about who can I get a hold of, which girl can I crop, yeah? So enjoy each other. Listen to each other's stories. Make sure that one guy only is not holding court. Typically there will be an alpha male within the group. Make sure, if you know you're that guy, make sure the quiet guy gets a chance to speak and encourage him, and all be engaged, head nodding, encouraging eye language, good stimulus, giggles. Feed each other. You'll all have a great time. And no sooner than later, you'll realize you'll be talking about things that happened last week, fun stories, and you will start to have a great time. But if you go into the bar or the environment of the club and you are looking for the target, it's very outcome dependent, very objective. And people sense that, especially women. So, rather than running around looking for the hottest set, remember that you guys are the highest value in here. If you were Brad Pitt and you went out with your friends because you just had a whole week on a movie set with a load of beautiful models and all you was looking forward to do was having a few beers with your buddies, would you be reacting to beautiful women walking by you? No, you wouldn't. You'd be just zoned in on your friends. Do that and enjoy the bar, enjoy the club, enjoy your friends, and be the hottest set in the room.
Now, the bottom-up approach, tactics, techniques, strategies, gambits, that's the bottom-up approach, or what I call outer game. Now, the top-down approach is a way of being, how to be. And a very important aspect of that, in my opinion, is truly letting go of your outcome. If you're afraid of rupturing your social value, the second you feel that fear, rupture it. Wreck the set. Because truly, with 7 billion people on the planet, it doesn't matter. It won't matter a year from now. It won't matter an hour from now. Once you get rid of that fear, turn into a pirate, Billy. Do social violation theory if necessary. Arg, Billy. You can do anything you want. It's yours. It's your place. It's your life. And you'll be more attached to your true self. If you let go of your outcome, the women will feel a sense that you are free of agenda. They can smell that on you. It is the top-down approach. It is your way of being. Arg, Billy, show us your big cock. How did that happen? It doesn't matter. You truly let go of your outcome. That's what social violation theory is really all about. Systematically conveying to your set that you don't give a shit. When you let go of your outcome, it seems almost as if you don't have a boss. You are truly the alpha male. You see, I don't work for anybody. I work with people, but not for someone. That's an important aspect to deliver systematically sometime in your set.
But what is the 3-second rule? Why do we choose it? It is one of the most fundamental dragons that need to be slain, or need to be owned and downloaded into your unconscious as a unique action that you take every time you see a beautiful woman. Not necessarily a beautiful woman in terms of your interactions with others. The 3-second rule is all about you see a person in passing, whether in the daytime, a bar or a club, and within 3 seconds of observing, you approach. That simple. Because she is about 20 times more intuitive than you. Naturally. Women are naturally more intuitive. She already saw you looking. No, you'll appreciate that. Women want confident men. So if she already saw you looking and then you stand there, continue to look, what is that going to portray of your personality? It's not going to show a confident man. It's going to show the opposite. And more importantly, you keep observing without approaching, that's going to creep her out. You're going to creep yourself out because you're going to feel uncomfortable for every second beyond those 3 seconds you didn't approach. More importantly, you're going to start to make excuses. Oh, she's got her friends with her. Another guy might be coming back. She might be wearing a ring. She doesn't look in the mood to talk. And guess what? You're going to carry that mentality and those excuses to the very next group you approach. And it's going to get harder and harder all through the night. All because you didn't obey the 3-second rule. So, uploading your confidence. If you're a confident guy, why would you hesitate? Somebody sees you of interest, you approach, you speak to them. Men or women, groups, mixed sets. You approach, you obey the 3-second rule. You know what? It's not that important in a bar or club. It's important to get good at the game, but it's not important in life. Do you know when it's important? Because one day, when you're sitting in a coffee shop, and I'm not just talking about approaching in bars or clubs, I'm on about all day long. One day you're going to be sitting in a coffee shop, having your coffee, and some lady's going to walk by. Maybe she's wearing a nice pair of brown riding boots, beige jumper, trousers. She's just got a nice bounce in her stare, a little bit of blonde hair that I personally like. Nice breasts, just everything about her, but an energy, there's just something, wow. You know when you say to yourself in your head, that's the kind of woman I should marry? That's when you need the 3-second rule. You need to have practiced it so much that when the time comes when it does matter, when it is important for you, that you just find yourself, wow, your coffee's on the coffee table in Starbucks and you're on your way across the square to see this girl. Bang! Approach. Because if you don't practice and get this right now, when there's women that are of beauty, that do really interest you, that could be the future wife in your life or mother of your children, that's when you'll feel it the most. And you'll feel it'll wreck your day, it'll wreck your week, it'll make you feel devalued in your whole life, all because you didn't obey the 3-second rule. So let's lock it down together. Let's get the skills. Let's get the practice.
There are 5 levels of game. The first level is not opening up a girl all by her onesie, which is called a single, a lone wolf, or a single set, even though a set is a group. That isn't where we begin. See, women of beauty are rarely alone. They're usually in groups. So you're going to have to work the group. And that's the first of the 5 levels. The second one is merging. Sure, you know how to open up a group, say a 3-set. 2/3 of all approach scenarios are the 3-set. But what about merging? To forward merge the group that you've met in an effort to demonstrate to them that you have social savvy. And that is a value to people, right? You also want to be able to backwards merge the group into a previously open set so that you can show them that you have friends and you have a social circle that comes along with you. You know, if you meet a girl and you don't get a chance to meet her friends and she doesn't get a chance to meet your friends, at some point that's all going to have to take place. And that's why we want to get good at mergings. It's both basic and advanced. It's basic in that you're going to have to do it tonight, and it's advanced because you have to learn how to open up a 3-set twice. Third level of game is allowing last night's successes to assist you in this night's successes, bringing the girls that you met yesterday into the public gathering today. Sweetens the pot. Pre-selection comes with you. The fourth level of game. This is where you allow last month's successes to assist you with this month's successes. And that's called having a life, having a social circle. You know, when I go to a new city for the first time, I'm starting from scratch. I have to go through all these different levels of game over the course of the next month or so that I'm in a new city. Now, the 5th level of game, that's called hot game. Hot game includes anything technological, any media that can convey your personality so that you already have uploaded your DHVs into a person's head prior to your arrival. That's hot game. You got to start at the cold approach. That's the juicy part. That's the dragon that you must face head on and strike its heart. And then over the course of the days and the weeks and the months, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter until you're playing hot game, where everybody knows your name. There are leaders and there are followers. To become a good leader, you must become a good follower of a good leader. There must come a switching point where you are leading your own life, where you're proactive. One thing Discovery has come up with is a concept called OSCA.
OSCA. Well, that's not my name. Shaun Michael, Discovery. But why have I chosen OSCA is the additional new component to Mystery's M3 model. This is not to change something that's already great. It is perfect the way it is. But it's to sort out a bit of confusion out that lies between the opening phase and the attraction phase. Here's what typically happens. When people open a set, they get into what we call stimulus material. If you notice, by the way, O is for open, S is for stimulus. This is what I call stimulus gambits. Stimulus material, stimulus things to say that are designed to boost their buying temperature, their acceptance of you, their want to have you in their group. Guys use these. They might be little cold reads, finger reads, little observations, lawyer or nurse. Tried and tested gambits that work. But do they work? Do they really work? Here's the difference between something what we call real evolutionary attraction, demonstrations of higher value, higher evolutionary value, that she's pre-designed to react as a woman through DNA wiring from time gone by. She cannot control that. And the difference between buying temperature, aka emotional stimulus. Imagine for a moment you're stood there with your friends, you're having a good night, you're having a laugh, and the little gypsy lady comes by. She's got her little red flowers. Yeah, and you're having a good time and you're trying to turn your back to her because she's lingering. And then she leans across and she says, "Yeah, what's with the black scarf? You going to a funeral?" And your buddies think it's funny and they have a little giggle about it. And then just as you're giggling, she turns around to you and she starts negging on you. She starts taking the Michael out of you. But she's funny in the way she does it. And for 5 minutes long, she shares a story about this old homeless dude that was chasing her down the street to get his leg over. He wouldn't let her go. And this woman is hilarious. And you're enjoying her company. But by the way, guys, you wanted to get to your table at 11 o'clock at the cool club across the road and it's time to go. Do you take her with you? No, you don't. Because she was stimulating, but you were not attracted to her. And that's exactly what guys do. You see, we all know they should move from the stimulus to get you to warm the setup to the ability to captivate their attention. You need to captivate the group, not just one girl, the group's attention. That's why we call it C, captivate. Open, stimulate, captivate. Captivation isn't a mechanism, it is a process by which you want everyone engaged. Because it's not just about this set, remember, it's about what the room see. Even if this set isn't going well, even if you're not even attracted to anyone in the set, remember the very fact that everybody is listening to you is a demonstration of what Mystery calls one of your higher value switches of leader of men. People are reacting to you rather than you chasing and reacting to other people. So you have the group around you and you are captivating them. In that moment, you can begin to share your stories. The stories that are laden with your ideally true life DHV material. Your demonstrations of your value that you bring to them. But you're not going to get that just by walking by and throwing little comments. But why do we never get to the component of captivating a group and ultimately attraction? OSCA, open, stimulate, captivate, attract. Why don't we get there? 2 reasons. Number 1 is the buying temperature is addictive. And the reason it's addictive is because imagine the average guy. He goes out, he enjoys his time with his buddies like I used to be myself. And you're not used to warming girls up. You're not used to getting their giggles and laughter unless they're laughing at you because something strange you're wearing. So all of a sudden you get some new little gambits that allow you to stimulate them to make a few fun, playful observations, to do some little spins and twists and turns, some little hugs and some games. They're all fun. And you know what? For the first time in your life as a guy, wow, I created that. I made her laugh. I made her like me momentarily. Emotional stimulus gone, just like the gypsy lady a few moments later. In the moment, I made her like me, and that's addictive. So if I can keep pumping buying temperature, I'll keep getting those happy endorphins myself and making me feel good about myself. But it does not get you the girl. And a lot of guys, especially pickup artists, when they're learning, they'll do exactly that. They'll roam from club to club, bar to bar, going in there, opening a set and stimulating, making observations, being playful, telling little humor jokes. And then they're gone. And they'll move on to the next set. But they don't have goals in their lives, they don't have a social circle, and they definitely don't have a girlfriend. The second reason they never move into what we call the attraction material, where ultimately you get to demonstrate your true value as a man. You can't just walk in and tell them how great you are. It's going to come off across as braggadocio. You need to warm them up so they want to hear what you have to say. And by the way, the willingness to walk, your demonstration of your emotions to say, I don't need you, I have friends to join. Your body language alone should be saying you're not staying. They'll be pulling you back as long as your stimulus was good. In that moment, you get the opportunity to lock into the group, have them around you and captivate. But to captivate is a skill. It's a skill of delivery that needs practicing. And then even better still, if you want to start to weave in your attraction material, you're going to have a lot of delivery skill. You're going to have practiced sharing the stories that have your DHV material. Why is that so hard? Well, the challenge is because everybody believes the gambits are to get the girl. The gambits were not to get the girl. The gambits were to give you the training wheels to practice your delivery, to say the same thing time and time again, so you got to use your voice better. You got to control the group. You got to pull in the one whose attention was drifting elsewhere. You captivated the group. And once you get that delivery skill set, eventually you'll be able to talk about what just happened yesterday. You'll be able to talk about your visit to the bathroom and how entertaining it was and make it sound good because you have the skill of delivery, the ability to captivate. And when you've got that, then you'll find everything that's happened in your life that you truly value, you will find a way of conveying in a way that they want to hear in the first place. Open, stimulate, captivate, attract.
We're looking for coaches. We're looking for people around the world that can continue the work that I began. Now, you don't have to be the best pickup artist in the world, but you do need to have a skill set. So we've developed a coach development program. How awesome is that? A chance for you to learn how to be a coach, more than how to be a pickup artist. Let's presume you already have that under your belt and you have women in your life. But it's one thing to be able to pick up women. It's a whole other thing to be able to train others as well. If you want to become a master pickup artist, you cannot be one until you have the capability of creating another master pickup artist. I'm going to now give you an example of an indirect opener. Here's an opener that I've used successfully now for the last few weeks. And it is so under the radar that they don't see me coming. See, a direct opener is where you're conveying your interest right on the get-go, right on the open. But an indirect opener gives you a little bit more maneuverability. It allows you to convey your personality before they have to choose whether they want to hang out with you longer or not. Here we go. Did you know that the Titanic, you've heard of it, it's a ship. Did you know that the Titanic didn't sink? And now you know. That is a wonderful opener. Part 2 to it is, there were 3 ships built at the same time. Titanic, Olympic, Britannic. The Olympic was the first to set sail across the ocean, and it was hit in New York Harbor. After 2 weeks of repair, it limped back to Southampton, where I was last month. And guess what happened? This was a JP Morgan insurance scam. They switched ships. The reason why there were only half as many emergency boats is because they took half of them off. They didn't want to sink them all. And they sank the Olympic. Now, how do we know this? The grave site, the sunken ship, 2 of the letters on the bow where it says Titanic, 2 of those letters fell off, and underneath they found MP, Olympic. Whether they believe it or not, doesn't matter. It's just shooting the shit in a public gathering, right? But it's interesting. They don't have to believe me. That isn't the point of it. I'm not trying to convince them of anything. In fact, if they don't believe me, that's just fine by me, because then I can move forward and talk about Michael Jackson, how he's still alive and living in Bahrain. Again, don't believe me. Who am I? I'm just a magician. And yet it opens the set, and I'm in. Lock-in happens when you are leaning against the bar and people have joined you, or you're leaning up against a wall and you are surrounded by the group that you have moved a few feet into what is known as lock-in position. It's a waypoint. Every single set has to reach lock-in. Whether you're sitting with them or whether they're just around you, you got to get to lock-in. That is your waypoint. Say it with me. Get to lock-in. Get to lock-in. Lock in. If you don't lock in, you can lose the set. If there was one piece of advice that I could offer, only one piece, I think you'll agree with me on this, get to lock-in. Lock-in is where you are leaned back against the bar or leaned back against the wall, and whatever group you've opened, you have drawn around you so that you are surrounded.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. It looks and it feels good. It looks and it feels good, but not just to this set as well. It's to the rest of the room.
Exactly.
Because it's the consequences. The consequences if you're not locked in is that the whole room think you're the guy hitting on them. You're leaning in. Maybe it was going really well. Who gives a shit? Because the room think you're the perv, the needy guy lingering on the outside of this group who are locked into each other, and you're on the outside. You're the low value guy trying, Mr. Needy, to make it work.
also the next set will think that the people that are surrounding you are with you.
Hell yeah.
And that pre-selection, especially if you have some women that have drawn around you, that pre-selection will trigger proximity. Other women from other sets will come close to you, 5 to 8 feet away, and you know that you can open those sets, having already DHV'd to them without even having said a word. Lock-in.
Let's capture. You just said that. I'll just resume back in there. You just demonstrate pre-selection.
Exactly.
Guys are constantly worried about how to weave in their stories. If you know you're not a great storyteller, then you better lock in quickly. You need to tell the room you have pre-selection. And hopefully if there's a guy in that set and you're holding court and leaning back, locked in at the same time, you're the leader of men. Have pre-selection. You don't have to work as hard. Yeah, I like that. Powerful.
Get to lock in.